Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for such a beautiful day. Your word says, this is the day that I have made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. And we're thanking you because we're able to rejoice in life. We thank you that we have the energy, the ability to be able to go out, or come out, I should say, and be here with one another. And you also said that where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. And so we welcome you even into our midst and into our presence. And we pray that everything that is going to happen in this place today, every word, every lesson, even the actual event of walking, we pray, oh God, that no one will be sick, no one will, fall under the heat stroke or anything like that, but that you will give us your grace to be able to do everything that needs to happen here. That this program will be yet another success. You did it before, and you're doing it again. And we trust you because your word says that you are Alpha and Omega. And so we put you first today, and we thank you that this is already a success. In Jesus' name, amen.
Can we get a big round of applause for that, please? Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and celebrating with us today. We know that we're here for a cause, and we're here to bring awareness to suicide prevention. I don't know if you guys know, but suicide is pretty much the second leading cause in this county and in Texas between the ages of 10 to 34. So we need to start taking this seriously. If you see someone going through something, it's okay to ask them, are you okay? And it's okay for you to say, I'm not okay, that something is wrong and you need assistance. There's support and there's, resources everywhere you look. So find somebody and talk to them. We all need somebody. We're all going through something. So it's okay to talk to somebody about whatever you're going through. So once again, I just want to say thank you. We do have vendors here who will be giving resources on suicide prevention, the hotline. So if you have any problem, because we all do, we try to hide it, but we all do, feel free to talk to anyone, including myself. I have a lot going on, but I have an open heart and open ears to listen to whatever you have to say. And if you need anything, I'm always here for you. So before we move forward, I would like to introduce Mayor Ron Nuremberg to just say a few words. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? So my first ask is to please stay hydrated. It's very hot out, and we want you to enjoy now the second annual walkathon here with the San Antonio Nigerian Nurses Association in a safe way. But first, also let me say thank you to the San Antonio Nigerian Nurses Association, not only for what you're doing today to bring awareness to suicide and what we can do to prevent suicides, but also what you do with your day jobs, giving back to our community. We know that there's been tremendous upheaval over the last several years, the last few years in particular, and that can be a stressor. That can be also a cause for a lot of what we're seeing in our communities. Believe it or not, in 2020, 1.2 million people attempted suicide. 46,000 people lost their lives due to suicide that same year. So chances are you do know someone who is struggling, if it's not you yourself. And it is okay to say that you're not okay, and recognizing the symptoms of suicide. Often isolation, depression, feelings of loneliness. So if you see that in your community, reach out to somebody. Thank you again. Have a great walk. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Well, good evening, everyone. I want to appreciate the organizing committee for this group. I tell you, these ladies and gentlemen are great. They are dedicated. They did not joke with today. Now, we're all here, we're here. These people had so many meetings to get to a point I was like, what the heck are we doing here? But they organized everything to the T. Details till even minutes before the meeting, before this gathering today. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate all you do. Thank you, thank you. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Never take it for granted when it comes to mental health. It's always been a passion of mine, always. From the very first day I walked into mental health in my nursing career and realized this is where I belong. I've really enjoyed every single moment of it, and I'm grateful because I know one part, it's by grace. You can't do mental health if you don't have grace. And that grace you have is what you share. Great women have gone ahead of me. God, I don't even know how to come about talking about mental health and suicide. But one part that I think they have emphasized is the need to reach out. I always tell my patients this. I wish it were possible to read your mind. I wish it were possible to know what you're thinking of. And I know sometimes it's so hard, and I always liken it to having a ball of yarn. Those of us who braid our hair, knit clothes and stuff of that nature, you've dealt with yarns before. And when it's all nice and just easy to pull out, you can just pull it out and work with it. But when it's all ratted up, matted up, and you can't make the head from the tail, it's very hard. The same with mental health. For the person who's struggling with depression or mental health in general, and when I'm saying mental health, I'm not just saying depression, anxiety, any of those others, but I'm also talking in terms of substance use disorder. I'm talking beyond our typical. Because for the person who commits suicide, the first thing they say is, why? That was selfish of them. But did you know the pain? Did you know the struggle? It's up to you and say, you know what, I feel sad, I feel down, I feel depressed, and the next thing you want to say is, well, you know what, other people have it worse. Oh, you know what, oh, I used to struggle too. Nobody needs your own tale at that time. Yes, you might try to empathize and cheer, but do not take away from what they're telling you. Don't try to make them look like, listen, someone has it worse. No. I'm coming to you because I just need you to listen. I just need someone to listen. Would you be the listening ears? Would you be the one who chooses to zip it up and just listen? And sometimes learn to ask, how would you like me to help? What would you like me to do? How can we deal with this together? And yes, sometimes they'll tell you, I don't know. But it doesn't mean you have to now go off tangential and just derail from what they came to you for in the first place. But you know what the good news is? You don't have to try to be the therapist. You don't have to try to pretend you know it all. I tell some of my patients this. When you go talk to your parent, Mom, I'm feeling this way, or Dad, I'm feeling that way, or sister, or brother, or partner, husbands. Oh, talk about our man. I don't want my family to see my weakness. And you see them bawling and crying, and you're thinking, oh my God, this man has nowhere else to turn. Do you make your partner, your husbands, feel okay to talk to you? Do you let them know it's okay to be vulnerable? Or do you let them feel like, listen, I've had my own long day. I'm not ready for you today. Suicide is only the end point. It's only the end point. There's so much that leads to it. And unfortunately, sometimes either we choose just not to pay attention, or for some, oh, it's just attention seeking. You just need the attention. Grow up. It's all up in your head. No, it's not. And I mentioned all to include substance use and other forms of mental illnesses Because you see someone who's struggling with alcohol use or substance or any of those other things, and then you would never know someone has diabetes and start telling them, oh my God, this mashed potatoes is the bomb, you just gotta have it. And you know their glucose is gonna kill because it's so high. You don't push it on them. You don't see the person who has asthma and you know the pollen level out there is crazy. It's so dusty and everything, and you tell them, this is the day we gotta go outside. You don't do that. So then why is someone who struggles with substance tells you, even if they don't, if they say, I choose not to, respect that and back off. Oh, just a little. Good Lord, don't be a party pooper. Really? For you, it's a little. For them, it's the rabbit hole. They never come back. Oh, we can just watch this movie. There are certain things in the movie they just can't watch. Face it, pornography. Some have the problem. They don't want to watch that. Back off. They're killing themselves in the background because they can't share these things with you. And the little way they know how to is to tell you, please, I don't want to. Respect it. Listen. You'll be surprised at things that are said sometimes without the actual words being said. And I want us all today to do something. Ask yourself, am I listening? Am I listening? Am I watching? Now, I'm not saying you go back and you be like, oh my God, so every time you don't want to watch that movie, that's what it is? No. Or every time you don't want to have a drink with us, that's what it is? No. But I'm saying pay attention. Once again, suicide is the end point. A lot has been leading to that. It's just sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we don't make ourselves available. I'll wrap it up quickly with my own personal example. And I shared this the other day. When I first started to practice, there was a day, as a mental health provider, you get to give of yourself. To be honest, if you're really dedicated, you feel like your soul was drained when the day is over. Because the honest truth, you are giving of yourself. And when the day was over that day, it was so draining, and I'm so fortunate my family is my therapy. At least one of my best. I call them and I just listen to them, and it's like it just replenishes me. And that day I called, nobody answered. I called my friends, nobody answered. I started just calling just anybody pick up the phone. I don't care, just pick up the phone. Just talk to me, anything to get me out of here. And nobody answered. And that day I just sat there and because I felt so drained. And at that moment I thought to myself, I don't care, just one person answer, just talk to me. And I realized what my patients go through. I realized when it gets to that point for some people, this is it. Nobody cares. Is that the fact? No. But does it happen? Yes. So once again, listen, pay attention. If someone calls you, I know I'm guilty, pick up the phone, call them back. Say hi to them. Oh, I'm very busy right now, but I have a few minutes. How can I talk with you? How can I help you? Please, everyone, you don't have to do it if you can't. You can look up psychology today. There's several people, therapists, medication management, all of that in the community. There's a 988 number, you can call that. For sure someone will pick up. And if you feel like, you know what, no, this moment, if I step out this door, if I get up from here, if I take another minute, I'm gonna XYZ, please, get someone to get you to the hospital. You would never tell someone who's having a stroke it's okay, just sit down, take a deep breath, you'll be fine. You don't tell someone who's having an asthma attack, it's okay, just,
you're fine. You get them to the hospital. When it comes to mental health, let's not try to be all holy. Get to the hospital. I want to thank everyone again for today, but don't forget this. Suicide, once again, is what? The end point. There's several that leads to that. And if you make yourself available, your ears, not just your mouth, and your time, I think will help prevent a lot. Thank you all for today.
I just really have a burden in my spirit when it comes to raising awareness for things like, mental health issues and the stigma amongst Africans in general, but more specifically Nigerians. There is such a major stigma that does not allow Nigerians to recognize that mental illness is something that is not affecting only Americans or every other person except them. And so because of this stigma, I have noticed, being a pastor in the community, that a lot of African parents, specifically Nigerian parents, are dismissing the signs and symptoms of depression, anxiety, more so suicide. When your child is speaking to you, it is very important for you to listen. And one thing that I have noticed again in the African community, more specifically Nigerians, is we tend to dismiss their signs and symptoms and say that they'll be okay. They'll be okay. And we keep telling them they'll be okay, or we tell them, let's just pray over it. And it's okay to pray. I don't want to ever dismiss what we were raised in, the foundations that we were raised with. However, it gets to a point that prayer is not the only thing that needs to be done. Notice I'm saying that you should not pray. I'm not saying you should not pray. What I am saying is that prayer is not the only way that God can move. And so when a child is saying to you that they are feeling signs of depression, they're feeling like they don't want to do things that they normally like to participate in, it is time to listen. We heard the president was saying how this stuff is starting at 10 years old, but we're seeing it in practice that is actually starting much younger. 10-year-olds are killing themselves, but there are also 6-year-olds that are also killing themselves. One thing that I want everybody to understand is these young people go on social media. There are chat rooms that they're encouraging themselves that, yeah, I'm sad. And it's a community and it's a party of sadness. And so they're kind of encouraging themselves. Some are going directly to it. Some are insinuating that they should take their own life and that it is a good rest, like they can finally rest from all of this stuff. And Nigerian parents are ignoring these signs. If a child is withdrawn and they're spending more time in their room and you're thinking that it's only prayer, and now you know that I'm not against prayer because I am a pastor, but if you think prayer is going to be the only thing that's going to help that child that is withdrawn, may you not ever be in a situation where you have to regret. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to be aware. It's time for us to not allow the stigma to continue to drive us. I want to be honest with you to let you know, as a pastor, I have young people come to me all the time. And I have people, even last year, we had a college student, Nigerian, that committed suicide, completed suicide. It's one thing to attempt suicide. It's another thing to complete suicide. And so we do not want to even go to the point of committing suicide or even attempting suicide. On a final note, I'm still speaking to Nigerian parents and creating awareness. There are a lot of Nigerian parents who feel that they can just, talk. They can talk to the kids and they will get over it. It's not just about you getting to them, but also the fact that you need to get them some sort. Let's start with therapy. I always say that, look, everybody can benefit from therapy, whether you feel you need it or not, whether you feel you have a mental illness or not. Just the fact that I'm a pastor, I can benefit from therapy. Because by the time I come to all the things that people are telling me, I need to dump that somewhere as well. So we need to stop thinking that mental illness is something that is so terrible that we don't want to accept that it is really happening. And it's happening in our community every single day because there are Nigerian children that are killing themselves. And so one thing that I want us to leave, if we don't leave with anything else I've said, Nigerians will constantly put all this pressure on our children. Pressure that they must be doctors. Pressure that they must finish the university that's supposed to take 4 years. Try and do it in 2 years. Why are you forcing these children to be faster than what they are supposed to be? So when she finishes medical school at 25, and now what? Please, the pressure that we're putting on our children is too much. I'm not saying we shouldn't encourage them to be successful, but we have to know that the pressure that they put on you, it's not the same. The children are not able to handle it. Let me tell you, I tell people on the pulpit all the time, you were abused as a child, you just didn't know. The way that they raised us, it was actually abuse. You just did not know it was abuse. But you must know that just because they did it to you and you were successful, you managed through, doesn't mean that the next generation is ready for that. They recognize that it's abuse. Stop pushing them beyond their limit. Allow them to grow and continue to encourage them to do their best, but do not put it on them that if they don't, they will see. You will see what I'll do to you. Too much pressure. Please let's relax the pressure so that these kids are not considering suicide. Thank you very much.
Worthless in the second place, glory of my life living. And I just don't care if I live or die with these so good, torture my mind. This just seems to be a life that I'll never live. Lying in a bed, my sister weak, thinking about things I've been taking.
Ladies and gentlemen, please a hand of applause for her.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Sandra and her crew. Y'all, this is a manifestation of when you think it, you become it. Ify, congrats. Sandra, congrats. I'm so happy to be here on the 2nd anniversary. Happy birthday, by the way, yeah? So I want to talk about validation today. I want to talk about that word, what I call valley freaking dation. Sandra made a mistake to give me the microphone to talk about suicide prevention. That's what I love to talk about. And as a pediatrician, I'm going to ask you all questions. So who knows, just raise up your hand, that suicide is the second leading cause of death for children aged 10 through 34. Did y'all know that? So who is aged 10 through 34 here, by show of hands? Yeah. So what is suicide second to? Who knows? Chicken wings, what did you say? Sorry?
Accident.
Fries?
Accident.
What?
Car accident.
Accidents, right? And so the question is begged. How many of those accidents were real accidents? Most of the clients that I work with, they tell me, they said, Doc, I wanted it to look like an accident. So how many of those accidents truly was an accident? And just to kind of piggyback on you, November 15, 2015, I was driving on I-410. I was going 89 miles an hour. I put my rooftop of my convertible down.
and I put my seat belt off, what do you think I was trying to do? I was looking for a space on 410 to drive off. I wanted it to look like an accident. I knew they were going to say black, female, whatever, speeding. They're going to find alcohol. They're going to find something in my blood. I knew they were going to, because that's what they do, to make the news sell. But I wanted to make sure that I was not going to just wreck my car. So trigger warning. When you give me a mic to talk about stuff, I'm going to talk about real stuff. And so yes, I was driving 89 miles an hour. I really was looking for an opening. But God was like, not today, Dr. Lulu. And so it does happen to the best of us. I'm here to represent the doctors, because doctors are like gangster, right? Did y'all know that doctors have the highest rates of suicides amongst all medical providers, medical professionals, healthcare work? Who knew that? How many doctors die by suicide a year? Who knows the number? I like that. You know what? I'll take that. That's actually better than what I was going to say. I was going to give you all the numbers, but who cares? A lot. A lot of us. And we will go to our graves before we tell you that we are hurting. Wow. Because you got to look sly, right? You got to look fine with your DKNY sandals, right? You got to look like everything is okay, like, I'm all right. But am I really, though? At what cost? We all wear masks, all kinds of masks. And I don't mean the one for COVID. I mean the mask of I look good. The mask of I'm doing okay. The mask of I've got enough money. The mask of no, that's not abuse. The mask of my husband, he hit me again, but he didn't mean it. The mask of my wife punched me and I don't know, she's just upset. The mask of all of those things. We wear masks. We're so good at wearing masks that we forget which face to put on any given day. And so my question to you is, at what cost? What is it costing us to show up every day in our inauthentic selves? I'm talking about validation. I'm going to go there because, Nigerians, y'all are so holy. Nobody goes to church more than Nigerians. Y'all have churches on every street. I know that.
Yeah. Speak on.
But I just happen to also know that just like my good pastor said, that mental health challenges, which is what I call them, because when you put illness, people just withdraw. So I call it challenges. Because during the COVID lockdown, there was every kind of challenge on social media. Ice bucket challenge, don't rush challenge, all of the challenges that come, right? So mental health challenge is what I like to call it. And it turns out that Nigerians also believe that being LGBT, y'all know I was going to go there, right?
That's right.
Of course. Being LGBT is foreign. It's from the white man. It belongs to those people over there. It's not us. Así. Irọ́ ló kọ. No es verdad. The truth is, we're just as gay as everybody else. Y'all are just as queer as me, okay? And so the thing about the validation piece is, what is it costing you to pretend that your child has said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay? Shut up! Cut! Tufiapa! Right? Let's go pray it away. And then your child starts cutting. And then you want to bring your child to me to fix your child. Really? Did I tell you I was God? If God is omnipotent, omniscience, omni-everything, then does God make mistakes? Then why will you now come and tell me to fix what God has said is good? Bros. No, not today. And so the thing about validation is, your job as a parent is just to validate your child's feelings. If they're feeling sad, don't say you're lazy, because that's what the Nigerian parent says, you're just lazy. Go back and study some more. And don't come out of that room until you get an A+. In my class, I got A. Everybody got A. Everybody's parents got, who got B? Whose parents got B? All the parents got, everybody's parents carry first. So whose parents carry last? Now, I love what the pastor said. We put a lot of pressure. People ask me, so, Dr. Lulu, which of your kids is a doctor? I said, none. They look at me like I'm a sellout. I don't even like medicine no more. I quit. I didn't quit, I now quit. People die. And people die for something. What did the good book say? That one. Yeah? And so, the youngest child that ever died by suicide was how old? You were close, Doc, Pastor. 5, actually. And then we don't say committed, and I know you know that. We say completed, we say died by, we say suicidal. But the 5-year-old child was the youngest person that died by suicide. Not because they wanted to. Do you know any happy child that wants to jump? Do you know any happy person that's like, okay, today I'm going to drive over 410? No. And that's why when someone is feeling that way, the questions you ask them, the words you say to them matter. Don't ask them, why? Cat, madam, you have 3 cars, you have a big house by the Dominion, you have nice shoes. Why would you want to do that? But why do you want to do it? Go and do that and go and do that. Why do you want to do that? So the question to ask them is, who knows the question? You might know, don't answer. Who knows the question? The question to ask anybody who's struggling is, what happened? By saying what happened, you are validating that last week, last year, last month, they may or may not have been okay, and something happened. Sometimes it's their uncle that happened. Am I lying? Sometimes it's your husband that happened. Am I lying? And if the girl says something, say, wow, I'm sending you back to your mother's house. Really? You really think if she was okay, she would want to kill herself? Who do you think wants to do that? And that brings me to the fact that 21%, they are just graduating from grad school now. So they're coming to work at your place of work. But I have news for you. 1 in 5 Gen Zers identifies in the LGBT community. So it's time you make me ask the bottom line. When your money starts hurting you, you pay attention. You don't want that kind of drama on your head. So 21% of Gen Z considered suicide. Is that a lot of people? Could that be one of your kids? Or this is just Dr. Lulu.com, right? 47% is almost 1 in 2. If they are okay, if they are happy, they are feeling validated, you think they're going to want to kill themselves? But the A is ask open-ended questions. Like what happened? Like she said, how can I be of assistance? What would you like me to do? You want me to just listen? You want me to talk to you? You want me to take you to the doctor? You want me to just sit with you? Sometimes they just want you to just sit rather than saying the wrong thing. Just sit with them. And then L is obviously, if you're going to ask the question, you gotta listen. So L is lean in and listen with your 2 ears, which you have, and 1 mouth, right? There's a reason why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Except for me. And then the K is keep communication lines open. A lot of us say, you know, don't disturb me right now. I'm walking like that, right? Let me tell you, if you have a 16-year-old that comes to say, Mom, I want to tell you something. If you say, not right now, how many of them will come back? How many of those 16-year-olds will come back? Okay, how many of the 10-year-olds will come back? No, exactly. So be very careful when your child says something and say, no, not affirmation is, wow, you look really good in that shirt. How do you feel in it? That's affirmation. Tolerance is, I don't care whether you wear the shirt or not, let's go. You see the difference? I need y'all to practice affirmation. That's the same thing as validation with your kids. Affirmation means, wow, your hair is the bomb. Well, try not to laugh, but still, just say your hair is the bomb, it's not going to hurt you. Acceptance is like, yeah, your hair is nice, let's go. Tolerance is like, I don't care how your hair looks, let's go. You see the difference? You want validation. And trust me, the youngest patient I had to bury as a pediatrician was 7 years old. 7 years old. He took his own life. And he wasn't Nigerian, but he managed to help because he was a child of color. And he was from a community that doesn't talk about it, just like Nigerians don't. So that's the time I had. Hopefully y'all learned something or the other. Know that if you have weapons in your house,
your house is more than 8 times more likely to have a fatal incident because you have the weapon. Most people tell me that their weapon is because they want to, I gotta have my gun, Dr. Lulu. Right, have your gun, though. But just know that your house has more than 8 times to have a fatal incident with that weapon. While I know you bought it to shoot the man that's going to come and rob you at Walmart, right? But when you're at Walmart, your weapon is at home. How many people can really truly hide something from their teenager that wants to find it? Okay, good. That's what I thought. Thank you.
I want to share with you that this is real. Suicide is something that actually is preventable. We just have to get to this place of, as a culture, talking about it. It is totally okay to have your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Your pain is valid. Your pain is real. You don't have to suffer in silence, because the silence actually is what kills us. If you don't know that you can take what you're feeling and talk about it with someone, you're gonna keep it to yourself. And that shame and secrecy is what's gonna take you to your grave. And I don't want that to happen to any of us. And this is why I do what I do. This is why I am a therapist. This is why I speak to anyone I can and let people know the pain is real. It is. The Dalai Lama has said that in his teaching that we are all the same. Every last human on the face of this earth, we're the same. We don't like pain. We don't. And we just want to be happy, right? And so in this whole scheme of this world that has gotten to this place of making us feel like that we should be ashamed to feel what we feel, I'm here to tell you, that's why I'm here to say no. We have to get to this place of being each other's champion. And I actually work for an organization, and I thank you for inviting me for NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, because all of our services are free. We do education. We educate people about diagnoses. If you're struggling with your mental health, I have diagnoses. I'm one that I used to sit around in shame, depression, medication. I didn't tell anybody I took medication. Do you know, for the longest time, as a clinician, I didn't let folks know I took medication. So if you're struggling and you sometimes think about taking your life, I say that's just the red flag to say, go and see someone. Let someone know. Even if that other person has absolutely, they don't even know what to do other than, okay, let's call 988. 988 is the new hotline number for suicide prevention. So if you're struggling, if that's all you can do is just dial 988. The other person on that line would be someone who's trained to be able to be that place, that space of hope for you. There's also a text hotline, 741-741. All you need to do is text help. And that other person on that line is someone who's trained to be a resource to you. Because it gets better. I didn't know it then that it would be better. And I didn't know I was going to be the mom of like 11 kids. But I'm so blessed to still be here, to be able to see them do things and be amazing and go to college and be the first one in their families to go to college. And had I been successful, I wouldn't be here. So know that this is an important space. Thank you so much for sharing that it is time for healing to happen. It is time for our youth to stop hurting and killing themselves. It is time to take our power back. So know that you are important. And now I know I'm important. I'm important enough to get up, take care of myself, and when I'm off, know that I need to do that tune-up, see my own therapist, do this physical fitness thing, and do this thing called life because I love it. And you're important, and I want you to stay in it. And thank you for doing what you're doing. I appreciate this. And thank you for inviting me. All right, thank you.
Hello everybody, this is Judge Grace M. Uzomba. How are you everybody? How you doing, San Antonio Nigerian Nurses Association? Yes, the NAMI Walk, I've already signed up and have a theme, so just go to NAMI.org and join my team so we can go ahead and raise some money for NAMI for mental health, okay? And remove the stigma.
Which one's your team?
It says Grace Uzomba.
Hi, my name is Robin. Thank you all for joining me. This was kind of last minute, but I love Zumba, so I'm always kind of prepared. I've been teaching since 2013, and I love it. Who's new to Zumba, have never done Zumba before? Awesome. For those of you who have done Zumba, every Zumba instructor is different, so I hope you enjoy my few songs that I have here, and that you will continue on doing this dancing. It's a really fun way to relieve stress, and let's get started.
No dey waste time, oh nah. Me I won't fire bazooka, oh nah. Mr. Money no dey waste time, Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Say baby don't find no dey too shine, unaka. Show why me. Mr. Money no dey waste time, Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Hello, you carry back a little filo. I'ma take a phone, no dey close to. Ready to go one them kilo. Kumatinga za kumatinga.